Hi everyone, Boston, Brad, drinking. Wanted to show you kind of a behind the scenes making of the episode. We're recording episode 15. Here I have my trusty PowerBook G4, 12 inch, like all good PowerBooks should be. And we're recording with GarageBand. Here we have the Plantronics Game Pro 1, I think they're called, or about $60 on Newegg. We recorded episode 14 with them first, and we're going to be recording another episode. They sound fantastic. They're better than this little stick mic we used to have. Brad here in front has his Acer laptop. I have no idea what model that is.
It's a 5672.
5672. It's that. And over here, out of frame, I have a iBook G3, which we usually use these two laptops to look at the show notes and news stories while we're recording.
Sometimes we print the news stories, but
sometimes we do, but I'm kind of lazy. Basically, what we're going to do now is I'm going to set up GarageBand, and we're going to get all of the news stories in order and try and figure out, you know, which news stories we're going to cut and which ones we're going to talk about and in which order.
that's what we do.
That's how we roll.
I just sit here and look up news stories.
So if any of you out there that listen to the podcast want us to create a special, recording a podcast with GarageBand, send us an email, tvgpfans@gmail.com, and I can get something like that set up if anybody's interested. But I think we're going to cut now and get prepared for the podcast, and we'll see you while we're recording. You didn't say one. No.
It's a silent count.
No, I'm going to cut all this anyway.
No,
Are you ready?
You love us. Camera
Are you
people.
ready? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you ready?
Brad's trying to pick up the ladies. He just gave the nod to the camera.
They're just like,
What up?
Oh.
Alright, and starting. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston. With me, Brad.
I'm
How you doing?
pretty good.
We are actually recording it. We have Ryan Pratt sitting here. He's been previously on.
Not only are we recording on the audio, we're recording video.
That's right.
Does it make more sense?
Because it makes more sense if I actually explain what's going on. Yeah, we're actually recording this video, and we're actually going to put it up in the next couple of weeks.
It'll be in 1080p.
Show you a
1080p.
sort of behind the scenes look on how we record and what goes into recording the whole shebang. But let's get started with what you've been playing. We're setting up here for our second segment, which is usually releases/news. Depending on the week, we will split up releases and news. We don't really have a plan for that from week to week. This week we don't have a lot of releases since it's post-Christmas, so we're probably just going to roll it all together, although we do have a lot of news stories. What we typically do is we have a Google document where we have a whole bunch of links, and we'll put all of our releases and all the news stories and anything we find interesting over the week, we'll just all throw in there, and then we'll kind of weed out afterwards. So basically, we open up a whole bunch of tabs on our laptops in Firefox, and then kind of go through one by one, and we usually switch off news stories. That way you don't hear one person droning on the whole time, or you don't hear one person's always talking about the stories and then somebody else is always giving their opinion. So
You know they always want to hear my voice too. So.
That's true. We get a lot of emails about that.
I know. I have to hide them from you so you don't get nothing jealous of me.
Yeah. So basically what we're doing right now with the PowerBook is I just have GarageBand paused, and I break up the sections with music and whatnot. I actually break it up in GarageBand. I actually have different sections for each segment. That way it makes it a lot easier for me to edit and kind of prepare. It cuts down on my editing time quite a bit. And it also cuts down on sort of errors we had during our test episodes. We had a lot of problems where I'd be sliding tracks in and out, and it would overwrite
That
upcoming
sucked a
tracks.
lot.
That sucked because we lost like 15 minutes of a really good segment. So it kind of makes it easier for me. It kind of makes it easier for me to balance the podcast because some parts may be different than others. And once again, if you want to see all that sort of stuff, just send us an email. So we're going to organize the show notes and get everything all set up, and we'll see you again when we start recording. Oh,
There's all kinds of things you don't know.
I don't. It's just too much.
You just don't know.
I got Celebi in a Pokeball for the first time.
Salivating.
Celebi. I've had the game since
Which one is Celebi?
that green thing from Gold and Silver Pokemon. It's like the Mew of Gold and Silver. Anyway, it's more rare than getting Mew in a Pokeball, and it's the first time I've gotten it in 8 years. Or not 7 years.
What does it do?
Nothing. Just like Mew. Just shows up and goes away.
Alright, I'm going to talk
Like the
about...
goldfish?
I'll talk about all of the Fox News stuff. Because there's like 8 news stories here. Do you want to talk about the subpoenas?
I don't even know what they're about.
Did you say penis?
No. Subpoenas.
Are you still recording?
Yeah.
I thought you said...
That's the best part.
Why don't I talk about the Fox News and the Silicon Knights thing? Do you want to talk about the 120-day rumor?
Yeah, I know
And
about that.
GT5 prologue?
Yes. I need to
Uh,
read about that though.
I'll talk about CryEngine. We'll talk about... I don't care who talks about Brawl. Well, no, we're going to talk about Brawl in the spoiler section. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you say. Alright, are you ready? Oh, we're already 40 minutes in.
I know.
Ready?
Yes.
Okay. Alright, then... Okay.
Ready.
Ow. Big.
Ow now, brown cow.
Ow now, brown
Ow now,
Scotch,
brown. Alright, let's start again. Alright, that's another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'd like to thank Brad for joining me.
I'd like to thank you for having me.
Thank you. I'd like to thank Ryan for recording this podcast.
Hold
Much
on.
love. I'd also like to send a quick message out to our fans and our listeners. You may be listening without being a fan. I don't know. That'd be a little strange though. We've been getting a lot more listeners over the past couple of weeks from a lot different places.
Where?
Like Canada. We have a couple of people visiting from Canada.
I love Canada.
So I really want to thank everybody. Brad and I really, really enjoyed doing this every week. And we even enjoyed it when we didn't even release the episodes. We had a lot of fun when we were doing the test episodes.
Yeah, we actually really don't. Well, actually, we actually
It's
don't.
pretty much the same
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
We're the same.
So we'd really like to thank everybody for listening. You don't send enough emails, but that's okay. We understand. And I'm still working on the forums, so we don't have anything this week. But if you want to visit our site, tvgp.tv, if you want to email us, what is the email address, Brad? Do you remember
It's
it?
tvgpfans@gmail.com.
That's right. And if you want to, just a reminder, if you want to stick around, we're going to talk about Smash Brothers Brawl spoilers after this.
In like 15 seconds.
And if you don't, if you don't stick around, we'll see you all next week.
Peace. That's Ryan's.
Yay!
I was happy.
Okay.
What'd you think?
That was nice.
It was-
It's a nice little
We still
letter.
got stuff to record.
Hey fans,
Oh
how
hi.
are you? You're looking good.
Oh hi. What's up?
Did you lose weight, fans?
Yeah. You're looking very svelte.